Hello.
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 I don't think this is going through.
Our audio.
Yeah. But I have it. Hmm.
We don't want to repeat.
Oh, I did
My
hear it on
shitty
there. I just don't see
somebody.
the.
Is it working?
I just don't see the bar moving.
Oh yeah.
But did you hear all of us? And I'll log into it.
I unmuted my Twitch and I can hear Josh and all of us.
Okay. Well, there we go.
All
Yep.
right. Well, I don't know why I wasn't getting the little mixer bars underneath and Streamlabs, but
I don't know.
whatever.
Do we want to? I'm gonna have to fucking cut all of this off. This is gonna be so annoying.
No, we don't.
Or I can just
We'll
leave it
roll
in.
with it. Yeah, we'll roll with it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nerds in Space, Crisis in Space. I don't know. I haven't figured out a name yet. Episode 1.
Nerds die in space. That's what it should be.
Nerds die in space, especially Ryan.
Especially.
Episode 1.
It's actually
Episode
Mufasa. Thank you.
Only the first one is Mufasa. Unless you
That's
name
true.
all of them Mufasa, like
Mufasa Jr.
every
Mufasa the
character. Yes. Weirdly, there's no Mufasa the fourth. It goes directly to the fifth.
Yeah.
Don't know what happened to Mufasa the fourth. He might show up later. But thanks for anyone who is joining or listening to the recording. We'll be playing a game called Death in Space. And it's kind of like a space horror. Yeah, there's at least some of the book.
It's gonna float in and out of existence like we're going to. It's gonna be great.
Yes. And so this will be episode 1. So just kind of starting things out. We had a little bit of an episode 0 earlier, but we will do maybe a little bit of recap of characters just to cement things in here. But I'll try to do that as part of the actual gameplay. So first things first, before we get too far into things, did you name the ship?
Yes.
I think we did.
We sure did.
Okay. I think I know the name
Justin,
of the ship.
you're the
but
one who's hyped for this. You do the honors, Justin. Christen our ship, please.
Are we
Champagne
doing
bottle.
the manufacturer ahead of time, or is it?
Fuck yeah.
I think you weren't here for it, but I think we should, because then it puts us into reality, and we could jokingly say they were like one of the last manufacturers to make ships, or I don't know. We could tie it in. I think we should.
Do it. Do it.
All right. So our ship name is the Chevy Nova.
This is Chevy Nova. Perfect.
Chevy Nova.
Perfect. Weirdly, this broken down ship is about the same quality.
It's a Chevy Nova.
I mean, we already said you got to hit it sometimes to make that shit work.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. If this ship ever explodes, the next ship, we're gonna go with a neon, Dodge Neon,
A Geo Metro.
Geo Metro. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, the ship explodes. No. So.
Watch out for the gas tank area. We'll reinforce it later.
It's just got some rust, you know. It's been in the north, you know, all that salt and stuff. So, no,
Makes sense
okay.
to me.
So all of you have banded together. You kind of have met each other already. I would say that your acquaintances, you know, friends is maybe a strong word. But the thing is that all of you are pretty broke. How many hollows do y'all have at the moment?
I have
I have
11.
9.
I have 19. I'm loaded.
Ooh, rich man. Rich man. Okay, so we know who we have to mug first. So y'all are kinda broke, but you know, since we're talking about the end of the gem war, pretty much everyone across the board is pretty broke. There's not much technology, not much wealth across the board. So you're kind of banded together to buy a ship and be able to use that to kind of do whatever you want to from that point forward. Maybe you want to make some money chartering goods. Um, you know, like Star Citizen, you just like ship rocks back and forth for a billion hours. Um, or maybe you want to fly some bandits or shoot down some other ships and rob them like pirates. Um, the first thing that you really need in any of these scenarios is a ship. So y'all were off planet, um, and kind of in a um, kind of like a space station where you've been kind of collecting together, and you've decided to buy a ship. Now, the ship is you're aware of a couple things. One called the Chevy Nova. Um, for those of you who aren't really good with the solar system history in the past, uh, Chevy used to be a company that owned a sector of planets that included Earth within the Milky Way. They were pretty big for their time, starting out as a relatively small manufacturing company based out of Earth there, but grew over time. They have long since been defunct. They tried to switch over into making warships during the Gem War, and they weren't really all that reliable. They kind of just exploded. So
Makes me
they
feel
don't
comfortable.
they don't really exist anymore, but you did find just a hell of a deal on on a ship. Now, the ship is currently located in the Tenebris system on the thing called the Ring. So the important thing to know about the Ring is that it's like a giant collection of ships and debris that they've just kind of welded and strapped together. I wouldn't really call it a space station or anything as fancy as that. It's just a bunch of shit that they have managed to collect in a big ring. So there are sections of the ring in which you have to spacewalk, or you have to have a ship to safely navigate from one section of the ring to another, because large chunks of it are uninhabited. But the location that you're headed to specifically is RM80, and that's where the ship is that you've purchased. So uh,
R80?
Arum,
RM80.
AURUM 80. So you do know a couple of things about the ship. It's kind of it's not that great. It's not that great. You're aware of that going in, but you've
One of 3 prototypes.
it's true. There might be a reason for that. You don't know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Since none of you have actually traveled to the ring recently, then um, and none of you have actually traveled to RM80 at all. You never really got a good look at the ship. You just got some messages over the space link that it was for sale. So a little bit of notes regarding why the ship was so cheap. Um, so the first thing is the previous owner has a docking fee for it. So there's a debt that you collected along with that ship. So you owe currently you owe 500 hollows. You got the ship for damn near free, but you do have to pay someone 500 hollows, or you ain't getting that ship back. The second thing is the engines are just completely shot. So You're hoping you can find a mechanic somewhere on the ring to kind of bring it back to life a little bit. Uh, but even if you do manage to fix the engines, it has 0 fuel. There is no fuel whatsoever, so you're gonna have to locate that as well. So you kind of know this going in. The person selling it, although obviously like a sleazy used spaceship salesman, um, was remarkably upfront about why it was so cheap. But what remains of your money right now, the 19, 9, and 11 hollows that you have respectively, uh, is all you have left after buying this ship. So uh, you haven't put any dent into the 500 as of yet. So right now you're on a shuttle from the space station to RM80, kind of heading to go pick up the ship, so to speak.
We're on the space station.
You're on a shuttle headed from the
Shuttle.
space station um, to the ring. So you're kind of strapped into uh, flight seats within this very derelict shuttle. If you imagine like the shittiest taxi you've ever been, but hurling through space at like 1,000 kilometers an hour, that's what you're in currently. Um, you're not entirely sure whether you should be excited, terrified, or probably both. Um, the weird thing about this ship is, although it doesn't seem, you're going through the void of space. There's there's no water around, but everything is just leaking and wet. Like there's this pipes are just condensing maybe water on the outside. You're not entirely sure. Uh, just damp and moist is probably an accurate statement. But there's one other inhabitant of this shuttle, which is obviously the pilot. Uh, y'all don't get to just steal the
Oh, is,
shuttle.
is this a private shuttle almost? Like it's just the three of us?
So specifically, there's a lot of miners who live out on Arum. It was kind of used as a hub location in the Gem War to kind of use as launching points to the other kind of nearby planets within the Tenebris system. You're not entirely sure how far those planets or moons are, but you're aware that they kind of exist within the region. So um, people tend to shuttle people back and forth between the ring to the space station, and then they leave the space station for the individual planets that they're going to be working or mining or doing who knows how what else is happening. So although currently you are getting your own personal shuttle, it's more like a hotel shuttle sort of thing where they just drive back and forth at certain times, and you happen to be the only three waiting for the pickup. So you see that he's kind of an older, gruff-looking man, most likely based off of his age and the sheer uh, number of scars and kind of the you could tell he's seen some shit. Uh, and he's kind of just smoking unfiltered cigarettes in the front of this. Smoke is billowing back through. For those of you who are organic, I don't remember who all is an organic unit. Uh,
Partially organic.
then you you're kind of having to breathe that in, and there's not shit you can do about it.
Just to be clear, is this a human?
This is a human,
Okay.
yeah, and so. Um, kind of just a gruff looking pilot dude um, who's flying you out. Um, he introduced himself previously as Juan. Um, and yeah, he says, what brings you out to the ring?
Hello, kind shuttle master. We, well, I personally had last heard that my family was on the ring, so
That's
I
it's
was
unfortunate
going to
for
go
your
look for
family.
them. It's been a
They
long time since I've seen them.
they workers out here on the ring, or he kind of like, he's like kind of looking over his shoulder. It's not really watching where he's flying, but vast distances. You hope there's nothing in the middle, there's nothing in the way. But he kind of gives you a once over, and he's like, workers, or is it like a church thing?
I'm not sure. During the war, when I was called to the edges of space to drill for gems, I had to leave them behind. I've spent so much time in cryosleep, I don't even know how old they would be at this point. But the last correspondence I received, they were at the ring.
Happens to the best of us. The war fucked up a lot of families.
Sure did.
Hell yeah.
You see as he kind of like continues turning that he's obviously missing one eye, and the other one is just horribly cataracted. Like the fact that he got into the ship today is shocking. You're not entirely sure how you survived the docking procedure, but he seems to know what he's doing.
Okay. Uh, I'm not. I guess I'm gonna ask. Or sorry, I'm new to this. Why are you asking so many questions, human?
We got a long ways. He kind of like looks. He does like a once over on you and says, I'm used to worker types. Uh, if we don't really see we don't really see a ton of y'all over here. So, um,
Mufasa, we're all going to die anyways. Would it hurt you to be a little nicer to our shuttle driver?
My business is my own, and I'm spending the rest of this trip in silence. I'm not talking to that goddamn human.
Okay.
he kind of just
Pleasant day for
chuckles
a
and he's
stroll.
like, nice. I
Nice.
He kind of like you hear just just slightly under his breath like, no tip it is. Uh, uh, he kind of like turns over his other shoulder, because like the way that you're seated, he can only see two of you at once. He turns to you, Adam, and what is he?
So you said you transport a lot of workers. I'm assuming probably there's a growery around here. A lot of worker carbons that you're moving around. A lot of people that probably look like me.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
Your type actually tends to get work. A lot of people who go to the ring, they don't really come
Yeah.
back. You kind of live on the ring, going forward. But you know, they
Yeah.
uh they
Live and
tend to
die and you
actually
grow and die, baby. I mean, that's what they do for us, right?
exactly.
It is what it
Uh,
is.
and y'all picked a pretty shitty time to come to Aram. Y'all know that, right?
Why is that?
I mean, y'all heard about the turf war happening? I mean, I'm not
Mm.
I'm not I'm not much of a gossiper, so uh, I don't call me involved here or anything, but there's a pretty nasty gang war going on right now for control over Aram.
Hmm.
And
Do you know where we could, by chance, get any cheap weaponry when we arrive?
that's the thing about the ring. Everything is cheap. Now,
What
uh,
about working and cheap?
working is a much more difficult question. Um, honestly, other than the bars, there's not much on Arum. Uh, there's some food markets. There's the bar, like I said. Um,
How about a gambling den?
lots of those. All Also, why are you talking to me? And he just kind of gives you a
He
wink.
really likes gambling. Sorry.
He winks with his one good eye. And
Good is subjective.
oh yeah, better than the one that's missing.
So out
Uh,
of character, quick for me. So Arum is a separate space station outside of the ring, not attached to the ring.
Arum is a chunk of shit attached to the ring.
Okay,
Um,
so we
but
can
it's
get into
not.
the ring on it or from it.
You will be attached to the ring, but you would have to spacewalk from Aurum to another chunk of the ring.
Got it. Okay.
And you ever seen those like floating island cities where they just start like attaching shit to make more floating islands?
Yep.
That's pretty much what this is. So you're gonna be on one chunk of debris that they've strapped to the rest of the chunks of debris. But so you would have to either use a ship to get away from Arum to another part of the ring, or spacewalk to one of them.
Okay.
After
Uh,
he makes that comment about why am I talking to him, I just glare at him with both of my eyes.
he doesn't seem to notice. Even if he was looking directly at you, I'm not sure he would notice a glare. Uh, so he says, yeah, uh, pretty much liquor and non-fizz are you're really the only options here. There's some food, but that's about it. Um, he says, yeah, I'm not entirely, I live out on the space station here, but word is it's getting pretty nasty down there. In fact, uh, they're sending out someone to kind of police the unit. And from what I understand, they're a shoot first and ask questions later kind of person. So, uh,
Do they
probably not a place you want to hang out.
do they the gangs that we're looking to avoid, do they have any like particular markings or clothing that lets them stand
So,
out that we should notice?
I'm not entirely sure. I know the two gangs are the hmm, the Parliament, and the Passels. Um, one of them is super into non-fizz, and the other's kind of the opposite. Couldn't tell you which one was which, but
All right. Non-fizz and what?
uh, well, that's what one of the gangs is into, is
Yep.
non-fizz, and the other one is against non-fizz.
Got it.
What the
Got
fuck
it.
is non-fizz?
That might be a good question to ask the character.
Adam, ask him what non-fizz is.
Who's Adam?
Oh, sorry. Fuck.
Tick.
Sorry, that's my bad.
His name is
It,
Tick.
I'm gonna take a look for. Is there a co-pilot seat, or is it just like a one-seater ship?
It's got one seat kind of in the front, and then it's got 6 seats kind of behind it. And it's almost like
But
a bus,
but
three
not
on each,
okay. But
three
no.
on each side.
I want to lean forward. And I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask the guy. I'm like, hey, you got any more of those unfiltered smokes there?
As you lean forward, you realize that the seatbelt you've been latched into isn't attached to anything. It is
Just
all for show. Um, so, but he he uh, he points to a pack of Lucky Strikes that are just kind of like sitting on the dash. Is it called a dash on a spaceship?
sure.
It's called a dash on in this game. Uh,
It's a
and
Geometro ship that we're on, so it's fine.
yeah, yeah. Um, and so he points to him and he's like, "You're welcome to one of them, but I am running low."
I lean over and like just smoke it and breathe it my way. I've got engineered lungs. Let's do this.
He looks wildly uncomfortable with the entire situation, and just hands you the whole pack. Uh, just like he's like, you know what? It's not worth it.
I spark one up and start lighting it. I'm like, so what is this fizz stuff you were talking about? Is that some like drug or gem or something? Take a
Oh,
big puff and like blow it his way.
like non fizz, non physical. Like they wear the headsets and kind of put your brain into the non physical world. Um, kind of escape reality. What's the they used to call it like virtual reality back in the day, pre war. Um, so one of these gangs lives damn near in the non-fizz constantly. But these days, maybe 50 years back, they started developing drugs for those things. I mean, you're jacking your brain directly into this system. So I don't know. Seems like a virus to me. But to each their own. If you're living on Arum, I mean, you ain't got anything fucking better to do, I guess. But
I take another big puff and I'm like, yeah, I mean those worker guys, I get it. When you're not working, you gotta be getting high or something.
yeah, sure, they sure seem to think so. I mean, some of them could be working to get off of Arum, but once you're on the non-fizz, uh, easier said than done.
Ace is just
Uh,
nodding, looking over at Mufasa and Tick. So how much longer do we got on this here shuttle?
we got about an hour. He kind of like points into the distance, and you see what looks to be a large ring of metal debris. Kind of the light is glinting off of it. You can see in the distance it does look pretty big, but you can tell it's quite a distance away. But you are approaching pretty quickly. So about an hour.
Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna rest my eyes. Wake me up in an hour when we get there.
So, out of character here, would this be a good time for people that didn't listen to episode 0 to run through our characters a little bit?
Uh, yeah. What does Juan see when he looks at you, other than a lot of haze? Uh,
Some smoke rings.
So, I'm just going to read what I sent you, Huff. Some of it Mufasa and Tick would know. Obviously, some Juan would not. But uh, Tan, or Haze, as his nickname is a void clinging to and almost worshipping the darkness. He wears a flamboyantly teal and red robe made of reflective materials that look patched on by a child. The hood drapes over a beaten up smoke gray mask with no distinctive features save for an attachment slot over where his mouth would be, which is where his breathing mask can attach. Whatever color this mask once was has long since faded, very much like his hope. If you catch a glimpse under the hood of his robe, you can see that fabric was sewn into the mask and completely conceals his head and neck, the bottom of the fabric tucked into an undershirt. Tan was an asteroid driller during the war, primarily drilling for the coveted gems that powered all technology advancements. He worked for the side that claimed victory, though it's hard for him to see any particular side as a winner with how the universe has been left. What drives Tan is a person, particularly his son Gunner. During the war, when he was called to the edges of space to drill for gems, he had to leave his wife and son behind. He spent so much time in cryosleep, he doesn't remember how old his son or his wife would be now. The last correspondence he had received from them was that they went to the ring, so that is where he must go to look.
Nope.
Adam. Jesus.
Jesus, Puck. Puck's crying. He's like, man, that's a
Like,
sad backstory.
so sad. So sad. I hope his wife.
Damn.
Uh,
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it,
Uh,
buddy?
okay, so I am Mufasa Kasker. I am a sorry. I'm a chrome, which means I'm an ancient AI placed in an organic body, so I'm part organic, I suppose. Um, so I was an asteroid archaeologist. I tried to stay out of the war completely. I wanted no part of it. I basically just looked out for number one, and I continue to do so today, even with my tentative friendships I have with my two friends. I'm still looking out for number one. I'm
Yeah,
very
you're the
cynical.
scientist like
Yep.
Jackass. I feel like that has money. That's why he's here.
I am very cynical and I am deeply, deeply distrusting of humans. If our listeners have not been able to tell that already, I'm not a fan of them at all. But yeah, that's me, Adam.
what?
Or sorry, sorry.
Really quick. So
Yeah,
he's an ancient AI in an organic body or partially organic body.
yeah.
Does he look humanoid or what? What does he kind of look like?
Ooh, what if I haven't thought about that?
Then we can come back to it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Think
Go to
about
Adam first.
it. So my guy Tick, he is a carbon, which is kind of a race that's pretty much grown in space. I'm kind of spinning it off that they're pretty much made as laborers. I mean, they're born and raised workers, slaves, if you will, and that's kind of what they are. His appearance is tall, lanky, pretty much hairless. I mean, they've been born in space. They don't know gravity very well. They're used to wearing suits and doing work and such. So during the Gem Wars and stuff, there was a lot of people trying to infiltrate the groweries and things like that to make workers that would end up being soldiers and stuff like that. So he fought tooth and nail alongside his other brothers and sisters that were grown to like keep that from happening. So definitely deeply embedded in a lot of those. You'll see a lot of carbons walking around that kind of look like Tick. They all are just kind of numbered. The only real difference is the numbers at the beginning are actually where the growery is, and then the numbers are where you stand in the number of that you've been grown at such growery. So TCQ is a specific grow operation that he was born on.
And do I understand correctly that he also sees a couple of smaller creatures with y'all?
Yes, he actually has a little rat companion that's with him.
What's the rat's name?
It's rat. I don't know.
Oh,
He
okay.
doesn't have a name. He's just rat. So he's been with him.
Okay, so Mufasa, by the way, looks at one point, much like everything else in this godforsaken galaxy, everything is worn down. So at one point, it looked like he had some sort of a
Psyduck.
skin-like covering over his mechanical. So, but much like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Terminator movies, it's slowly wearing away, and you're seeing a lot more machine than you are any side of human, which is totally fine with Mufasa. And I have a AI cat companion who I named Mr. Mittens, ironically, to make fun of humans. So
I'm calling it now. None of the NPCs are gonna know it's ironic.
it's
Uh,
for me, and that's all that matters.
yeah, yeah. As long as you find it funny. Nice, nice. Okay. Any other questions or anything you'd like to ask the pilot?
I just kind of lean over to my Should we say friends at this point? Like, how do we? My
Companions,
group. I lean over
friends,
to my group
group.
and I just quietly whisper to Tick and Tan, uh, "Be careful. The more information you can give him, the more he's going to use against us. He could sell us out to these gangs in a heartbeat, and he probably will." And then I just sit back and close my eyes again and pretend to be sleeping.
Are you saying that quiet enough that he won't be able to hear it,
Yeah,
or
so
are
I was
you?
whispering. He did
Got it.
not hear. He should not have heard that.
Got it. I didn't know if you were like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah,
Like,
no.
it's gonna sell us to the gangs. What an asshole. Okay, cool. Yeah, he did not. As far as you're aware, he didn't hear any of
Okay, all right.
that. If you thought his eyes were bad, his ears. Oh boy.
It's probably a noisy spaceship.
What's that?
It's probably a noisy spaceship.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean it sounds like it's one step away from death and then like three steps further. So it makes a lot of random beeping noises that doesn't seem to concern him. Every once in a while, there's like a weird clang, and the ship just like shifts to an angle, which he then has to correct for. He seems to know the ship incredibly well, although it seems to be just a piece of shit. But y'all are not exactly afraid because this is kind of what ships are like these days. You know, for those of you who are older, who maybe existed pre-war or early on in the war, you do remember when technology was dope and like ships were new and amazing, but by and large, those are long since dead, days. So, although there's some existential terror of being inside of the ship floating in space when it randomly just starts doing weird shit, the rest of you knows, well, that's just kind of how shit works. This thing could just explode at any moment, and there's nothing we can do about it.
So
So this is
Juan,
how. All right.
um, w- are you from Arum?
Not originally. In fact, I don't live on the ring. I live up in the space station. Um, I I'd like to keep my job. So, there's a lot of plenty nice people there on the ring, but yeah, no, thank you. Um,
Do you have many connections there?
Not really. I had some few drinking buddies up in the hub that would come down here to party, and some of them made it back. Some of them are still there. Hooked on the non-fizz, but you see them every once in a while. Looking for jobs, or some of them have gotten clean, but damn, once you're sunk, it's hard to claw your way back. It's really hard to get off of Aram if you don't already have a ship or money to pay your way back.
He's gonna look over at Mufasa. You stay off that non-fizz.
Leave me alone. I'm pretending to sleep.
The pilot just shakes his head like this fucking guy. Uh,
I lean over to the pilot and show him something in a bag. Know anyone that would be interested in this?
he kind of looks at it. You can tell he's struggling with the low light. Um, he says, I'm not entirely sure I know what that is.
It's one of a kind. You're never going to see something like it.
He's like, around these parts, no, nobody's paying for one of a kind. But if you can find a buyer, more power to you.
Don't know someone that'd be interested in one of a kind sort of items.
There's not enough money floating around unless you know, unless you're one of the gang leaders. They might be in the market for something like that.
I finish my smoke and I hand him back the pack. Forget you ever saw that.
So what? He says it with so much earnesty that you honestly am not entirely sure whether he's senile or joking. He's taking a lot of hits to the head, so there's it's hard to tell. You slowly approach the ring and begin docking sequences. So it's been roughly an hour.
Moment of
Uh,
truth, boys.
I'm gonna lean in
Can
while he's busy, and Tick, make sure you tip the man.
I gave
and
him back his smokes. Doesn't that count?
No, and we don't want him talking about what you just showed him, and he gave you a smoke.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Okay, everyone roll a D100 to find out if you explode. No, I'm joking. uh, if anyone rolls a nat 1 on that, oh boy, this is gonna be
game
a game.
over.
Yeah.
The cataract really took over.
My camera just switches to the you died like Dark Souls.
Can we wake up on the Skyrim wagon?
Yeah,
There you go.
everything goes to black. You wake up.
Oh,
Finally
you're finally
awake.
awake. Yeah.
Yes. That's for next session actually, but spoilers, I guess. But yeah. So you're just docking. If there's any other things you wanted to talk to the pilot about, this would be your time.
Do we owe Juan anything for this flight?
No. It's already been kind of pre-purchased as part of
That's why we're
your.
broke as fuck, bro.
Yes. It's already been pre-purchased as part of your ship buying.
Our tripling debt?
Basically walked into Animal Crossing or some shit.
Who do we owe the 500
Who is this
hollows
Tom
to?
Nook that we owe money to? No.
Yes, the car salesman is Tom Nook. He's gonna throw like a new roof on the house, and you'll have to like new roof on the ship, and you'll own three times the price. Yeah. But
Who do we owe the 500 hollows to?
so you owe
we'll get there, I think, right?
Yeah, you owe the 500 hollows to. That's a good question that I don't
If
remember
we
the
get there
answer to.
later, we can get there later. I was just trying to take notes.
Yeah,
We'll get there. Yeah.
I got it written down, but I don't remember where.
No worries.
So yeah. I'm just gonna say for right now, you're going to have to pay the people in airlock 13C, which is where the ship is.
Okay.
I will give them a name at some point, but for now,
Okay. All right, Juan. It's been real. Can we get off this rust bucket?
he finishes the docking procedure, and the door opens in a grinding metal on metal uh you know kind of noise, and he kind of gives you the signal that the more the merrier, head that way. He says, oh yeah, by the way, when you pick up that ship of yours, I think the Suru Suru, the bar I was mentioning, I think they sell fuel. So keep that in mind.
Pseudo?
Suru Suru.
Appreciate that.
TSURU TSURU. Suru.
You said that all out. I love it.
I get up and I wait. We're docked. Yeah, everything's good.
Yeah,
Yep,
you're the
doors
first one
open.
out. You're the first one out.
I get up.
Yeah.
I get up and I walk out without even looking at or saying a word to the pilot.
Um, he also pays you 0 attention.
Yeah. I stand up and pat him on the side. I'm like, thanks for the smoke. I pull out a stick of incense and I give him one stick and I'm like, when you run out of those luckies, burn this. You'll be feeling pretty good, I promise. And then walk out.
He looks interested, but not unamused. He's kind of curious. Is this drugs? Did he give me drugs?
Well,
But he obviously doesn't turn it down. So
Honestly, that's almost worse than a tip, but that's fine. Go ahead.
Hayes stands and thank you, Juan, for getting us here safely. Have a safe trip back to the station. And he follows his crew.
he gives you kind of like a, kind of
Salute.
salute, wave, combo.
it's
Obviously.
the Midwest wave. There's a
Yep.
on your steering wheel.
He just tips his cowboy hat at you, which he didn't have up until this exact moment. But yeah, you leave the shuttle. As you leave the shuttle into kind of this docking area, you hear that grinding noise as the shuttle ship door closes. Obviously, he's heading back where he came from.
So once we get out, once they join me, I look at Tick and Tan and I say, "Why are you so nice to humans?"
I look at you and I'm like, dude, you used to be one at one point. Like, why?
I never was actually.
You're an
I'm
AI. Like,
I'm an
weren't you
AI.
like an intelligence at one point,
I'm an
or
AI.
were you an AI shoved into
Yes.
carbon? So you
Yes.
weren't. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so you weren't. I thought you were a previous intelligence put into a carbon, but
It takes
Intelligence
extra
is a
effort,
strong word.
Mufasa,
It takes
to
extra effort, is that what you said?
to be as rude as you can be sometimes.
It's actually pretty easy.
Years of practice. uh,
Hayes just looks at Mufasa, but with his mask, you assume he's giving you as dry of a look as the mask looks.
Whatever, let's go.
Okay. So you've entered the docking bay. You see kind of around you. It's part docking bay. There's obviously like airlocks that you as a crew have walked through, but you do see other airlocks. Some of them look in good working order. Others of those you're just wondering how they haven't been sucked into space yet. So generally around you, uh, it's kind of like a labyrinthian uh, metal shanty town. So there's people just kind of living on the street, in piles of debris. You can tell that there is, for how little you thought money existed here, it's worse than you thought. It's people are kind of laying on the street. You can tell that they are wearing non-fizz headsets and just kind of in a vegetative state. Some of them obviously have had like bed sores from just laying in their their headsets for long periods of time. Not all of them are connected to headsets. There's a you know young dirty children running around playing and people milling around doing actual work, but it's obviously like a slum.
Hmm.
So hundreds of flickering work lights hang from chains in the ceiling. Uh, Similar to the shuttle, there's just water everywhere. You're walking through kind of inch deep, disgusting, you know, puddles. You're not entirely sure that it's water. It's maybe definitely gray water if you know what that is.
Mm.
Um, on the floor, through the water, you do see big letters and numbers that once showed directions, but as you kind of, are walking through this docking bay, you realize that the floor is just welded together parts of ships, and so some of the directions that are listed there are to places that don't actually exist anymore. So it's kind of hard to get your bearing a little bit, but you can kind of see there's a list of airlocks. Like I said, some of them to docking bays, some of them to more storage containers. But there's just lots of people milling around.
So I scan the crowd and look for, is there anyone not human amongst the crowd?
Yeah, so there's human, what I would say would account for the majority of the individuals. But you do see some crumbs. You do see some of Tix race that I am drawing a blank on. Um,
Whose race?
Tix.
For the
What
origins, there's
The
carbons, chromes,
carbons,
punks,
just
carbons?
carbons. Yeah.
soul
Carbons. Thank
pod.
you.
Yeah, the grown people, the
They're
carbons. They all look the same.
most people don't really consider them to be humans, although
Yeah.
they are
Hmm.
originated from humans.
Humans. Yeah.
Uh,
It's
but
ironic.
yeah, they don't really count as humans. At least in
They're
most
like the
people's opinion.
clones, kind of. Like they all kind of just blend together. Is kind of what I picture.
Yeah, and like due to the metaphysical changes that they've had from being grown and being in space their entire lives, um, they've kind of uh, it's like that whole
Evolved, sorta,
nature
in a weird
versus
way.
nurture
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
They've kind of branched off. So if there's like
Hmm.
Neanderthal versus like Homo sapien, then they're kind of their own branch of
Space
not a
sapien.
yeah, yeah. So you could consider them human. I
They're
won't.
carbons. I mean, they're a different version of humans, kind of. Yeah.
You're
Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be traveling with you. So
uh you're
You probably look at me as a worker. Like
yeah.
that's pretty much yeah. I'm your hired work.
Can I ask an out of character question?
Of
yeah.
course.
Hollows. Is this like something physical that you can give?
No. I'm
Okay.
gonna
I
say
assumed it
I'm
was
gonna
like a
say
digital
no.
currency, like given to people. Yeah.
It's just futuristic Dogecoin. No.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's kind of why how I pictured it too. It's like
uh,
you like digitally send someone like a hollow. It's kind of how
the,
I assumed it.
the way that I'll say it is you have kind of like a digital wallet that connects to. If you were rich enough, then you would have some bank somewhere that it could connect to like transfer and receive funds.
Well, that's not
Uh,
us.
but
No.
you do not have a bank for
Oh,
your
fuck. Let's come inside.
$30 that y'all got right now. So $40 or how much you got. Uh, so you do have a physical device, and that device allows you to transfer hollows back and forth to
Okay.
individuals.
Okay, so I'm glancing around the crowd looking for non-humans, obviously. Is there anyone like begging, like street urchins type thing?
So it doesn't seem like it. Although there
Okay.
are some individuals who are definitely looking y'all's way to see if you have money.
Okay.
There's not enough money for anyone to really beg for, because no, there's nobody to actually give the beggars money. So um, it's truly a slum. So there's
Okay.
obviously people who look hungry. There's um, the kind of like dirty children running around. Most of them are pretty malnourished, I would say. Um, some of the adults, it's harder to say with their uh, kind of more spacesuit sort of things. It's harder to say, but you can definitely tell that there's more suit than filla in
Okay.
in that case. But no, there's not actually anyone asking for literal money.
Okay. Um, so I look at my companions and I say, we need information. I'm gonna go talk to some people and see if I can't find us a mechanic. Or do we know how to get to our ship, first of all?
So the airlocks seem to be labeled, and you were told that airlock
13.
13C specifically, as in
Yeah.
Charlie.
But you
Uh,
said some of the directions didn't make sense anymore?
correct. So you'd have to kind of wander around.
Okay.
Which
But
airlock are we in?
you are in airlock 6 Delta.
Okay.
Or yeah, I should say you are outside of airlock 6 Delta. You have left the airlock.
Okay. Should we go get some information?
Yeah, that probably seems like our best and only course of action.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I approach a group of non-humans and I say, I have a hollow for whoever can give us information. Anyone interested?
Uh, you can see kind of the look on their face is there's like a momentary like who the fuck is this guy, and then they realize, oh shit, I'm hungry as fuck. uh so like they obviously suppress their any distaste, and one of them approaches you.
Okay. What race are they? Can I tell by looking at them?
You can tell that there's some sort of chrome. um
Okay.
you don't uh you don't know any much more details about it. You can tell that uh whatever organic material does currently exist on them seems to be decaying and pustulating. Um, Obviously, living in such damp and gross environments has not done him well.
Okay. Um. So I walk up to them and I say, uh, "We're looking for a mechanic. Do you know where I can find a good one?"
Hmm. It's a good question. So there's repair shops kind of further into the docking bay. You could ask around there, um, but honestly, the best mechanics currently are probably off the ring.
I'm looking specifically for a non-human.
That's gonna really limit things. I couldn't name anyone specific. Uh, you may have to ask around.
Hanno,
What's
stroll up to the two real quick and ask if he knows which general direction airlock 13C is.
Can you?
uh
Oh, sorry.
he
Did,
he kind of like points in the direction that you were originally heading, um, and says it's just past the shops, and then to the right.
uh, one more thing. Can you tell us which direction Suru Bar is?
So that's going to be in the common area. So just follow this line as far as you can get, and you'll see Sugazuru. It stands out. It's
Is
in the common area though.
13C beyond that?
13C is off to the side, kind of on your way, but you're gonna have to pass 13C on your way there.
Okay.
Thank you.
He says, you can kind of tell that he's not entirely sure exactly what to say, and he says, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be here in 4 hours if I were you. Um, have you all heard about the UWA coming?
We have not. What's the UWA?
UWA is it's kind of like a union that runs the rings. They do a little bit of you know uh politicianing. They do a little bit of security. They kind of run things around here. But they are not happy about Roy and Monotone right now. So sounds like they're sending the Thorn, and from what I hear, she's going to be here in about 4 hours, and things are not going to be pretty. It looks like he kind of looks down. You had previously been holding your hollow cards to
Yeah.
tell people that you'd be willing to pay, and like looks like you might be able to get out of here. You might want to think about it.
Okay. I transfer him one hollow. And then I look at the other two and I say, any other questions for him?
Now let's go hit up Suro Suro.
Hmm.
Okay. I look at him and I say, uh, thank you for the information. We really appreciate it. And I pass him one more hollow, so I give him two.
Ooh, hollows, rich man. Uh, he thanks you for your time,
You're
and
gonna regret that later.
Yep, probably.
okay.
He's not a
So
human, so he's my buddy.
So while on our way, like while we move, I'm assuming there's a lot of like no size people kind of laying around. I kind of assume them as kind of like junkies, like laying around on the streets and stuff like
Definitely,
that a little bit.
yeah.
Okay. At one point, I kind of unzip my Eva suit a little bit, and I kind of look at my rat. I notice he's getting a little low on his charge. I'd like to kind of find a no psi junkie kind of on the side of the street and stuff, and let him beat off the cord, kind of recharge a little bit.
Okay.
Real quick, I think you mean non-fizz.
Non-fizz. Sorry. What was I saying? I'm sorry.
No
No
sigh.
No,
sigh.
sorry. Probably.
I knew what you meant. I knew what you
Yeah.
meant.
No fizz.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it seems as if there is a power source to these headsets,
Hmm.
and so they're kind of like jacked into. Um, I wouldn't say there's like a wall port exactly. They're just kind of loose wires jutting out of the wall that they're kind of hooked to. Um, it doesn't seem like there's like cords or like you would expect like a well maintained ship to be. There's just like loose wires that are obviously live,
Yeah.
just sticking out of places. You're unsure if the other loose wires that you see are live or not, but they're just kind of sticking out of junk piles.
So I will say, like, I bring up my suit and I kind of bring the rat out and like kind of ceremoniously, like we've done this before a little bit, and I'm like, hey, just a little bit. Don't like turn them off or anything, because we can see one of the people we're looking at is a carbon, like clearly jacked in a little bit. So we're just like, just take a little bit and we'll keep on.
Um, and it does seem to work. You don't seem to stop the person from their non-fizz, um, but you do see that they begin to kind of twitch. They've got like tremors as you don't stop the feed, but it's not quite 100% either. They seem to just kind of like twitch randomly. They don't seem to be noticing that you're there.
Question, real quick. You keep mentioning the EVA suit. Did you get an EVA suit to start with?
Or he probably doesn't necessarily have one. I guess he's just used to having one, so probably just his suit or whatever is with the
Jacket?
rats
Okay.
in. I don't.
I
Yeah,
s-
his jacket or
Sorry, I just wanted
whatever.
to
Yeah.
clarify.
So EVA suits are a possible starting item. So if
Yeah.
if you rolled for it, you do have one.
I have a suit
But-
with holographic patterns. Is I guess what I technically am wearing. So,
I
Can
just
I
imagine like a
jump out of
but it's
holographic.
not. It's not. That's not an Eva suit. Yeah.
I just imagine like a holographic like business suit.
Yeah.
Was
He
that
got a
right?
little rat in his pocket. So yeah.
Can I
Yeah.
jump out of character super quick?
Yeah.
Justin, the little eye thing you got going on makes you look like you have brain damage. I just want to throw that
It
out
does
there.
look very weird at
It
times.
looks so bad. Like,
The Nvidia eye thing is weird.
All right, I'll turn it
It
off.
it
it's
looks like at one point you got struck by lightning and you're still trying to recover.
uh
Awesome. All right, I
Uh,
turned it off.
All right, back into it. I apologize.
okay.
so my feeding my little rat basically off of somebody else is happening. So seems
So
to be okay.
um, I'm like, all right, boys. It looks like we have about 4 hours to get someplace safe before shit hits the fan. Where are we going first?
Well, do you think we should go to the bar, or should we go take the stock on our ship?
I look over at Tick. What do you think?
I think someone needs to go buy some fuel, and the other of us need to go to the ship and make sure everything's good. Who's got the money?
I don't.
None of us.
I don't know if we should. If we should split up yet.
Did we ask? Does anyone know how much fucking fuel is around here?
I figure we're gonna need to pick up some odd jobs at some point.
Yeah, we're,
Get lucky at the gambling den, run some drugs, whatever the hell we have to do.
Let's go find out how much fuel is.
I
Or
guess
should we
we-
get to our ship first and know how much fuel we need? I don't know.
I will also note, y'all were talking about getting a mechanic. You don't actually know what's broken. You know that something's broken.
Right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you don't know like you
So
don't know
we don't know the
exactly what's
engines
wrong.
are fried.
You know that they're the person had said it like it doesn't start.
Oh,
It
okay, gotcha. Okay,
something's obviously
Hmm.
broken, but
okay.
you don't know if it's engine, computer failure, um, a little bit of both.
All right. So mechanics last priority. So let's check on fuel first and head for our ship after.
sounds good. Let's go to Surasura.
Yep, that's Sura. Sounds good.
All right.
Okay, so just really quick, where you walk through, um, so you have to walk through kind of the shops area on your way to the common area. So metal debris, covered hand painted shipping containers, booth and stalls are everywhere, arranged into a maze of narrow alleyways. Shop owners rest in hammocks, like they would have on like ships, where they kind of are just hanging out
And
in.
there's the
Um,
hover hammocks too. I've got one of those. They're just like hover
uh,
hammocks.
these ones are the old school ones.
Oh damn.
Um, they
Fucking
they can't
cheapos.
be affording those. But they rest in the hammocks or in containers remade into living quarters. Just kind of like hanging out for customers. Um, and most seem to be offering a little bit of food, but also what seems to be repairs of goods. And then as you continue to the common area, I realized I forgot to grab my dice. So
Whoop.
Are
Do
we
you need to roll something? Could do it
are
in
we
the
not
I
rolling in
Discord.
Discord?
I do
We
need to,
will,
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
since
there's
he's the
certain things that
DM.
Okay,
we
I see what
don't
you're
want to
saying.
see. Yeah.
which this doesn't really matter because it's like a random encounter. So it doesn't really matter because you won't know what the result is, but I will eventually need these dice. Bum, bum, bum.
He's gone out to a nearest star to find the perfect dice.
It floated into
Yep.
space.
There you go. He found it. Is it a
Okay.
singularity? Is a black hole the center? That's what the dice was made of.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's it. That adds up actually. Okay. So let's see. You see what looks to be a very scared human attempting to peddle some broken AI, a broken AI robotic animal to the. So he kind of sees you, gives you a once over. Although he looks very nervous about talking to y'all, he does approach. He obviously can tell that although y'all are broke, you aren't quite broke. Um, and he kind of approaches you. Hey, I notice you got a couple animals there. If you want a third, um, it's taking a little bit of damage, but there's a lot of repair shops around here. I'm sure they could fix it.
Hayes looks at him and looks at the crew, and I think we're good right now, sir. We appreciate it.
Is it sir? Or
Yeah.
is it a child?
It's like a young man.
Oh, okay. All right.
He says, just come back and ask for Pico.
Piku?
Pico.
Like
Pico.
Pico de Gallo.
Yes.
Okay.
Pico.
I mean, Tick is definitely gonna look. I mean, do we see what animal or what thing he has? Is he displaying it?
So yeah, it's a little bit hard to say. It's kind of like covered in a cloth. You can tell that it is like a robotic AI. It seems to be four-legged, but it is a little bit mangled. It's gonna need some work. Um,
Like, what can I tell what size it is? Like, are we talking like
Like a
a little
hamster.
small thing, like a bigger thing, like
I would
Cat, dog.
say
yeah,
I would say
really?
it's like cat sized.
Okay,
Not like a big
that's
old
fair.
cat, but just like a regular cat.
Hayes
Yeah,
turns to the crew, and
yeah,
we don't really know how much hollows we're gonna need right
yeah.
now.
I
5
don't
We can't get
mind.
swept up.
at a minimum.
I don't mind by like the size of it. Yeah, good.
I already have Mr. Mitten, so I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, the other thing that you run into is an old time friend. Um, Someone that you really hadn't seen before. Y'all can decide whose friend it is.
Are they human?
Uh, Maybe I can make them whatever you want to be.
If it's human, they're not my friend, so whatever.
But that's what he's saying.
uh,
Which
with
three of us, I guess, is want to have an interaction?
Justin's been pretty quiet for a while. Let's make it Justin's friend.
who seems like the most likely to run into someone here?
Well, Adam
Uh,
used to work here, right?
No, I have people that are potentially grown and workers here.
Oh, okay.
Like, I could potentially run into someone that was like a TCQ, like grown per
Okay.
carbon, like that. I don't know. That's about it, as much as I can
Well,
think
I've been
of.
a loner my entire life, so probably not me.
So
Could have been someone that Hayes was a driller with.
yeah,
All right, let's go for
Okay,
Hayes.
I'm really quick.
yeah. Or
Uh,
or he has to say,
I
or
was
Josh can roll between the two of
I can
us.
I have a two-sided die here.
There you go.
So Adam, you'll be the one, and Justin, you'll be it's a little squid icon. Um, it's you, Adam. Uh, so you see like a TCQ that you haven't seen in fucking ages. TCQ 8675309. Um, say
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
uh, it's pretty high up there in
He
numbers.
well, no, I'm gonna say he's
Uh,
lower in number than because I'm 18,
Mm.
792. So he's younger, so therefore he's an older guy. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
for
Am
sure.
I the only one who got that joke?
Um,
I don't know. I didn't.
uh, you're welcome for all one of you that picked up on that.
Apparently, Ryan.
Um, okay,
Tommy Two
so
Tone.
Is that who that's by? I don't remember. But
Jenny, who can I turn to?
8675309.
8675309.
um, okay, so he approaches you
You did
and
this.
uh, I did nothing. Coincidence. I just picked a number randomly. Um, so you kind of like make eye contact and like, no shit.
Well, yeah, because like I see I see him and I'm like, holy shit! Like we were holding down the like grow thing during the wars, like fighting next to each other. Like holy shit! It's like seeing a war buddy sort of thing. Not
Yeah,
even a war buddy, but like the person you looked up to during the war, kind of like your, you know, senior officer sort of thing. Like holy shit! I see him and I'm just like make eye contact. Like holy shit!
yeah. You see that like moment of recognition, and he approaches, um, and says, "Oh, it's been a long time."
Like I cough back tears a little bit, and I'm just like firm handshake, like come in for a hug, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
he pulls in from the handshake and gives you a bear hug, and he
I
says,
uh I kind of just really quick. I just like I nudge Hayes next to me and I pretend like I'm taking a picture.
I have no idea what's going on. Like it's like tunnel vision. This guy, yeah.
yeah. He doesn't seem to notice either. But he's like, what are you doing here?
I I could ask the same thing. What the hell are you doing here?
I've been working off the ring for the last few years. Kind of been stuck here. Um, you kind of you maybe would have missed it had you not known him super well. But you see like a glance of kind of sadness, and he's like, yeah, you know, it's been rough,
Yeah.
but it's good to see you.
I can't believe you're still kicking, old man. Like holy shit.
He kind of looks at him, and he's like, yeah, I think I'm all in one piece.
Yeah.
Uh, but it'll take more than that to keep me down.
Oh, I know that for sure.
He's he's like, so you here on business? He kind of like finally acknowledges that you have companions.
Yeah,
Uh,
I kind of point back, like still not really giving a good introduction. And I'm like, yeah, we got a ship. We're gonna try and maybe get off this ring, and I don't know, finally see what's out there. You know, like we've always talked about.
oh hell yeah, you got your own ship. That's amazing. Um, hey, I know it's been a long time, but maybe I could show you around. Maybe I can introduce you to some people. Things are getting a little rough here, but you know, maybe I can help.
I
Um,
We would love that. Like whatever. We heard some stuff's going down maybe in a little bit. We're trying to maybe get some fuel for our ship, see what's going on, and try and get the hell out of here as soon as we can.
yeah, he's like, yeah. So you guys heard about Monotone and Roy? Um, they're yeah, they're not playing nice these days. So, um, and we got the Thorn coming in. You guys picked a rough time to show up, but if you're looking for fuel, you're gonna want to head to the Surasuro. I mean, they're the only one with enough fuel to really get off. Whether they'll let you buy it or not, that's a whole different story. But um,
So they're the only ones with fuel. What the hell are they charging for fuel then?
if I had a ship, I'd I wouldn't be here. I have no clue these days. Uh, but uh, but uh, but yeah, it kind of like points down through what looks to be an old like docking connector, like they would use for ships, that's been retrofitted to be a hallway. And he says that the common area is that way.
That's where the bar is.
Yeah, yeah. The pilot had said it's in the common area.
So I kind of like
Yeah, I kind of look back at Mufasa and I'm like, well, that's where it's at, you know.
so are Hayes and I kind of standing off to the side?
You tell me. What are you doing?
Hayes and I are kind of standing off to the side.
I've been slowly inching you closer to Tick and his buddy.
So I say, Tick, can I talk to you? Can we talk to you really quick in private?
I kind of look at guy and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, one second here, but like, don't go anywhere. Like, please don't go anywhere. And then like turn to them.
Kind of
Okay.
just like stands there awkwardly. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of
fiddling
this
with
like, yeah, like I don't
something,
want,
like,
like I
I
haven't seen you
guess,
forever. Like,
sure.
don't. I want to say a proper goodbye, if anything, but like,
So
don't go anywhere. And like, I come back to them real quick.
so real quick, and I'm quietly saying this so that he can't hear us.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of people bustling,
Yeah.
That's yeah.
So I say, it sounds like there's a lot of shit going down right now. How much do
Mhm.
you trust this guy?
I trust my life with him.
Okay. I hope that doesn't come back to bite us.
Yeah, at the very least, let's see if he wants to join us to Suro Suro. Maybe he can give us a little
Yeah,
insider guidance.
All right.
yeah,
Yeah.
you might know the owner or something like that.
Yeah. Invite him to come with us then.
Yeah. Everything else good? You all right?
I just don't
I like
trust
poke. I like poke.
things.
Boop.
I don't.
Good,
I don't.
buddy.
I don't trust things.
Got your belly.
Hayes walks past the two and goes to the new TCQ and gives him kind of a bow. Hey, I'm Hayes.
He bows in and is kind of as well. You can tell that he's not really used to that, but he's trying, and he goes for a handshake as well.
Uh, Hayes like looks down at it slowly and robotically, and then looks up and reaches out slowly, touches his hand, but then lets it go.
He kind of nods like cool. That yeah. Good to meet you.
I slowly walk over, and I'm in a friendly way, but I'm definitely staring him down the whole time. I just say, "I'm Mufasa," and I hold my hand out to him.
He he uh he shakes your hand and he says that he's 8.
6, 7, 5, 3, 9.
He just goes by 8 for short. Uh,
Okay.
you know, uh, they can't all go by Tick because that literally all of them would have the same nickname. Uh, so
They
uh,
go by different things, TC or Q or like all the different things. Mine's
But
just Tick.
there's over 8, 6, 7, 5, 3, 9 of them.
even Tick was the first one
TC
to think of it. To be
Yeah.
honest, they're like,
TC would get used up
"Fuck,
quicker.
that's good. Why didn't I do that?" But
Hi, I'm Tick. I'm Tick. Wait, I'm Tick. Hey, I'm Tick.
here's the question though: did all like obviously the numbers are in sequential order? Was that the order that they were grown in or released
Yes.
in?
Ooh,
Because those
Oh,
could be different.
true.
I guess birth number. I
Okay.
would say. Let's say that for lore reasons.
Is what was
Because
the
someone could maybe grow before, but then be birthed beforehand, so like their number would come up beforehand. So we'll say number of birth as soon as you're like out of the pod, sort of thing.
it's like the Clone Wars from Clone Wars. where like they're all clones of Jango Fett, but
Yeah.
some of them were born in like 1 year and they fucking suck shooting everywhere that isn't the bad guys. And then you've got like Boba Fett, the like clone that's born like year to year to year to year. So like theoretically, I'm just making up shit here, but maybe y'all some of y'all are fermenting
Better
longer
later
than
on.
others.
Yeah. Anyway.
Uh,
Okay.
but
All right. Well, anyways, I shake his hand. We introduce ourselves. Uh, and I say, "Want to show us around the Suru Suru?"
he says, yeah, let's head that way.
Right?
One of the other things is just really quick, while him and Tick were talking, you did overhear a conversation as you were just kind of waiting there awkwardly. And uh, you heard a young, obviously punk. He seems to be wearing kind of what you would expect from like a cyberpunk. Lots of leather and spikes and vibrant colors and you hear him talking about uh, a cool repair job that he ended up doing. Um,
Wait, are punks humans?
punks are humans.
Pretty much everything is humans, except for the chromes, right?
Wait, you're not human, are you?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you really?
Haze
Mm-hmm.
You
or
don't you don't
yeah, I don't know what
necessarily
haze
know
are.
that.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily know that because he's covered completely in robes and
That's
has a
true.
voice modulator. So you don't actually know, right?
Yeah, he's kind of like the Mando where he never takes it off.
Okay.
Um. So
You know me. I'm just a skinny Powder. Do you remember the movie Powder? Like imagine that. Like that's what I am. But a skinny, lanky, like Powder.
who was
Bring it.
like the Landers or something that who are the people who were like born in outer space
The
in
Belters.
Belters.
Yes.
Belters.
That's very
That's
much what I
kind of what I'm
imagine
thinking of.
is the carbon.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much like tall, skinny, very kind of malnutritious looking, but
Lanky.
just like workers. They're just pumped out as like Pez.
Yep. Yep. And oh yeah, so you overhear him kind of chatting about that, but not to you, but while you're doing other things.
Okay. I
Okay.
I'm just gonna choose to ignore it. Let's head to the
Yeah,
bar.
Okay.
I have no reason.
So you head towards the common area. Common area is chaotic, bustling with noise and activity. Sharp synthetic smells emanate from a multitude of food stands. Scaffolding platforms rise several levels above floor level, filled with people and tight bed capsules. Paths are carved between mounds of rubbish. They're just mountains and mountains of garbage and computer parts and chunks of metal and ship remains. But there's just scaffolding and scaffolding and scaffolding of almost like bunk beds, but in like did you ever see those like Tokyo capsule hotels where it's just like tons and tons of
I was
like
thinking Squid
holes?
Game, the way they've got all the bunks like set up and like the.
Yeah. So these are like you can close them, but it's a bed for one person with
Hmm.
zero room. But there's just tons of them. Obviously, it seems as if the majority of people who live in the slums just kind of live out of a bunk bed in these capsules. So just like before, you do see a lot of addicts that are kind of just like lounging about. Um, but uh, uh, but yeah, several floors, each with a bed capsule stacked on top of one another. Walkways along pillars and walls connecting the platforms. Nearby are communal showers and large mess hall. Bored troublemakers, ex-prospectors, and hollow seekers have kind of all lost their savings hanging around doing anything to pass the time. And workers passed out from tough shifts sleep in their tiny bed capsules in non-fizz dreaming states. So you see that the vast majority of the people who are in these capsules have headsets on. So 8 points to the third floor of one of the scaffolding, which you see is absent of any of these beds. It seems as if they've been cleared out to make room for, uh, we'll say like a makeshift building is up there. Um, but you see lots of light and smoke, and people seem to be kind of milling around on that third floor. And he says, "That's the sewer for you."
I look over at Nate and I'm like, is there anyone that we know we should talk to? Or anyone we should avoid? Giving them a good glance.
Mm, those are. I mean, that might even be the same person. You're gonna want to talk. You're gonna want to talk to Hina. Hina's the owner. Hina Sursuru. She's a carbon that owns the bar. Um, she's a tough bitch.
Where's she
Um,
grown? Like
uh,
looking at her quick.
and you know, he's just as flabbergasted as you. Not a clue.
Give him a really confused look, like, what do you mean? No
Completely
one knows?
covered. Completely covered. Can't see any tattoos. Can't see any markings. Completely covered in armor.
Tick's like super confused. Like, I've never heard of such a thing.
Um, he kind of leans in and says, uh, she also runs the holotrade around here. So he kind of like gestures to kind of the addicts that are zoning out on the ground in these chambers, and kind of does these people. That's Hala. She pretty much runs the drug trade around here. She's not officiated with officially with either of the gangs. So Roy's Passels and Monotone's Parliament. She doesn't fucks with either one of them, but you don't want to be on our bad side either.
I give like a scared, astonished, like flabbergasted look at just the concept of like a carbon being able to like have that kind of power. Like a little terrified.
Um,
Well, we're not gonna find any fuel by standing around.
Yeah.
Let's go see what we can do.
Yeah.
okay. So you head into the bar.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, uh, the bar is dim and constantly packed with people, reeking of smoke and sweat. Uh, Holographic entertainment, which seems to border between violence and porn, flashes rapidly, providing the only lighting together with tabletop surface lights. Wires and cloth hang from the ceiling. The entertainment is old and bright, which seems to trigger seizures in some of the non-fizz watching these holograms. Um, those who manage to get a seat at the bar without bumping into someone could order, but it seems pretty packed. Um, but you do see that there's people drinking at the bar and at these tables, and some of them seem to be eating. Seems to be noodles. You're not entirely sure.
I pull 8 close. I'm like, can you get Hina here, or like, do we just need to get her on her own at this point?
He says, in the back is her office, but you you don't just walk into her office. It's an easy way to get shot.
Well, just
So
start with the bartender.
yeah, he says I would recommend that we start there. But uh,
Just wasn't
one
sure if he knew the bartenders or something like that. So
um, and so he doesn't seem like he hangs out here too much. As far as you can tell, he seems kind of uncomfortable with the whole situation. Um, and just doesn't seem like he wants to be there. But he kind of like points you to the bar, and he's like, honestly, just asking around is probably the best bet.
no, I appreciate old man. If you don't want to be here, you can wait outside. I totally understand.
He says, y'all, you know, the smoke and the lights kind of don't do it for me. I'll meet up with y'all outside.
I smack him on the shoulder. I'm like, should have got those engineered lungs, old man.
He kind of fake. Yeah, sorry. But he kind of cracks you a smile and heads out.
Should we split up and ask around, or do you want to stick together? Did
Speak
Hayes
all at
forget how to
once.
talk?
I don't know if we should split up, but if we do, let's just make sure we can always see each other. We don't really know what we're working with here.
Well, let's just all head to the bar then.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll head.
I unzip my suit and I let Rat out, and I'm like, hey, go check out there if you get a second. Like pointing up where Nate had said where Hina's spot's at.
That airlock. Okay. So
Oh,
the rat.
so real quick. I look down at Mr. Mittens, and I'm like, "Hey, go keep an eye on 8 for me until we get back."
Okay.
So Mr. Mittens exits the building as well.
Okay.
Hmm.
The music is bumping in here. So I'm going to say that your conversations with your animals don't make it to each other, unless you purposefully said it incredibly loudly.
No, no, I did
Uh,
not.
No, definitely whispering to one another. So yeah.
Go keep an eye on that guy. Uh, Mr. Mittens, get him.
Eat 'em.
So yeah, Mr. Mittens and the rat kind of run off in different directions.
Okay.
And
Hayes just
you
watches them both like, the fuck are these
fuck are
two
they?
up to?
Um, so
Well,
you approach. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say Hayes is gonna walk right up to the bar and try to snag some attention from one of the servers, bartenders.
So you approach the bar and you realize very quickly there is no room for all three of you. Like, uh,
There never is
it's
a bar.
yeah, yep. Um, and you obviously see that the bartender is um pretty busy. Kind of dumping this really gnarly looking noodle dish. You're not entire. They kind of look like udon noodles, but not at the same time. But they also seem to be handing out drinks as well. They don't seem to really give you the time of day. You haven't like really, they seem preoccupied.
Really quick, out of character. Josh, do you have an approximate good stopping point coming up?
Nope, we can stop whenever you want.
Shit. Okay.
You got like an hour or so. Like, what are you doing?
Um. Well, someone's got to work tomorrow, so I was hoping if we keep it at like 2 hours, is that cool?
Yeah, I thought our goal was to always do A max of
2
2
hours.
hours.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make
I
sure.
just figured go until y'all tell me because I have not been
Okay.
I
paying
could do
attention.
this all night, baby.
No, not I.
Yeah, I know.
Uh, so yeah, you're kind of just standing at the bar.
All right. So Hayes was up first, so I just kind of tap him on the shoulder, and I'm like, "We'll let you handle this. We'll watch your back."
All right. I don't know how long this is gonna take, so if we do want to split up again, let's just make sure that you guys can always see me.
Okay. So Josh, I glance around and I look for anyone gambling, playing dice, playing cards, anything.
Uh, you see that the majority of the people don't seem to be having any cards or anything. Really, the only entertainment seems to be the non-fizz headsets.
All right.
Whether they're gambling using those, you don't know. Um, not not all of the non-fizz. Keep in mind that some of them were using them for sleeping. You know, not all of them are drugs, but
Okay.
so they could be virtual reality gambling essentially.
Okay. So then I just kind of sigh, turn my back to Hayes, and then just kind of keep an eye out across the whole bar.
Okay. As you're kind of like looking around and whatever, you start to hear a commotion kind of in the back of the bar. Um, you see two individuals, both kind of like dressed as if the the punk, dude that you saw previously, but you can tell that they seem to be wearing patches, kind of almost like biker jackets.
It's the gang.
Uh, one of the individuals is wearing a castle uh, jacket, and the other one is wearing a Parliament jacket, and they seem to be arguing with each other. It seems as if they're arguing about someone stealing turf, um, and are actively kind of that really annoying thing when someone gets like right in your face and you're like, motherfucker, I'm gonna hit them. Like, sure, they're not actually touching you, but they're just so close. That's happening right now.
I get some popcorn. I'm just like,
So we'll take a pause. We'll
I'm
take
kidding.
a pause on that argument for a second. What do you want to say to the bartender?
Did I get their attention?
Nope, not yet.
Okay, well, I mean, he doesn't really have eyes per se, but the mask doesn't leave the direction of
Can you like
the
spew out
bartender.
steam or something to like get his attention?
Um,
Like, do your thing.
I will say that he's using his special ability, which I can make nearby electronics emit static and crackling whispers. And I try to do that so that it gets
Oh.
louder when he gets close to me.
Hey,
Try
let's
to.
not scare the shit out of the bartender, Hayes.
So you do get the bartender's attention when they promptly shit themselves. But no, no. So
I don't even know if they'd be able to
obviously,
hear it over the music.
well, that's the thing is the music has kind of turned to static. All of the TVs showing holograms of
Oh.
like I said, porn and fighting and things like that. Just all start to turn to static, and the bartender like looks around, makes eye contact with you, and is like, "This fucking guy." Definitely knows, like, you obviously don't look like you're from around here, and approaches you.
Uh, Quick question for you. One, how much is fuel?
Ooh, you're gonna have to talk to Heen about that.
All right, second question. You got any food to go?
I could put some synthetic into some bowls.
You don't have anything that's ready to be taken out of the bar for a later date?
Not really. Not the point. You
All
can go to the
right,
market.
that's fair. What you got any cheap drinks?
Kind of points up to a kind of like a bar menu, and it seems like drinks are about a hollow a piece. Although there are some that are wildly more than that.
Are the three of you still by me,
Yeah, I'm
or
still
two
just
of
kind of
me?
scanning across the bar. Yeah, I'm just kind of scanning across the whole place.
All right, he turns quick. You guys want a quick drink?
We don't have the hollows, man. Let's just find Hina and get the fuck out of here. I think something's broiling. I think something's about to start.
All right, all right. I'll go talk to Hina. Thank you for your time. I apologize for wasting it. And he turns.
uh, the bartender looks annoyed. Um,
I'm sure he
Yeah.
does. I'm sure he
Both
does.
because of the music and then the fact that you approached the bar and didn't know what you wanted to order. And then and
Yeah,
then
awful bar etiquette.
yeah, and then they showed you what to order, and then you're like, "Nah, I'm good." Uh,
Fucking this guy.
ne- next they're gonna like, "Hey, we only have synthetic noodles on the," and you're like, "What do you recommend?" Uh, you guys got any specials? Uh, um,
What's the
uh,
difference? Yeah.
so they say like, do you do you want me to introduce you to Hina, or you just like nah about the fuel entirely?
You
Yeah, if you could
want me to?
introduce us.
Okay. So they pick up a what looks to be like an old CB like handset. Um, it seems to be just kind of plugged into some wires that are just jutting out of the bar. And like maybe like an old Ethernet cable like split at the end. And uh, it's kind of hard to hear over the music, which is no longer static. Uh, but you can kind of make out that somebody wants to meet them. Um, and the bartender kind of like points at the airlock door, um, kind of in the back of the bar.
Thank you. And
Um,
he'll pat Tick and Mufasa and point towards the airlock.
I hit Mufasa. I'm like, you should probably fucking tip that motherfucker.
And I look at you and I go, yeah, I probably should. Let's go.
Nobody's getting a fucking tip here. Uh, there's gonna be fucking incense everywhere. But uh,
Just say, I was just about to
uh,
say, why don't you give him another one of your fucking incense then? Let's go.
I
um,
turn back around and I put a piece of incense on the bar. I've got 8 sticks left, by the way.
you start to hear yelling from like the direction in which the two gang members were arguing, and it seems that they have come to blows. There's
Is that
now what looks to be a large a bar brawl taking place.
is that the way we're heading?
Roughly in the same direction. They're kind of in the back corner, while the airlock is in like the back middle.
Okay.
Uh, so you could avoid it if you want to.
I look at Taking Hayes and I'm like, let's just go. Let's just go.
Agreed.
Uh, as you approach, you see the airlock door open, and a very well armored uh female carbon uh walks out of the door. She is armed to the teeth. Uh, she seems to be having a like a bolt pistol in one hand, and just starts heading towards the noise. She doesn't seem to notice or care that you're there, but she runs over there and just kicks one of them out of the brawl. And it's kind of hard to hear over everything still, but you can kind of make out that this is a neutral zone. and tell Roy in monotone that that if they keep fighting, then she's out. And you can tell that neither of the gang members are happy about the situation, but it seems as if they've left. And you see, as you continue to go through the bar, you can see that she heads back to her office.
I'm
So-
deadlocked on her. Definitely I could tell Carbon, but not kind of
Not
I
a
was talking
not a
I was talking
traditional.
to 8. I'm I have no idea where she was grown. Very confused. Kind of just bringing to the enigma of who this person is.
Tick's like, who's this bad bee?
Yeah, pretty much. What the fuck?
Yeah, definitely not your average Carbon.
Very confused. Yeah.
And by and large, the Carbons kind of stick to their own and keep their head down, right?
Mhm.
And keeping her head down does not seem like that's in her in her repertoire. So, um, but yeah. So the brawl is seemingly done for now. And you approach the office.
So
Do we
before we head
want?
in, do we want to
Yeah,
wrap up for tonight?
I was gonna say, do
I
we
was gonna
want this
wrap
to be a
when y'all open the door, essentially. So
Oh, okay.
we're right there.
Okay.
cool?
I look at Adam and I'm like, Adam. Or sorry,
Who's
not Adam.
Adam?
I look at Tick and I'm like, Tick, open the door.
I'm terrified to open the
Tick,
door.
Tick, open the door.
Excited and terrified, a little bit. I'm curious who this person is, but I'm also terrified of this person. Yeah.
So Tick, open the door.
Meh. Are we gonna leave it right there? Next
So
session, I open the door.
you open the door and she's facing the opposite direction and just says, "God
Please.
damn it, you motherfuckers want more?" And turns around and sees it's not the gang members. And that's where we'll end it.
I'm like,
Um,
hi.
Hello, don't
Perfect.
shoot us, please.
All right.
Nice.
Well, I'm going to cue the outro.
Do it.
Bye, people on the
Goodbye,
internet.
all.
Wait.
Hopefully you enjoyed episode 1.
Yeah.
We will be
We'll
back the fourth week or the fourth Monday of the month.
Yes.
Or maybe hopefully
Um,
sooner if I can convince them.
I want to do this always now.
every day, every day.
So tentatively shooting for Monday the 27th of February. But we are back next week with a regular, quote unquote, normal episode of Nerd
Or
Nor-
February
normal is a
13th.
strong word.
But here,